Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to address the first question to Dr. Pesky. Title II of the Higher Education Act requires states to identify low-performing schools of education. Surely they're not all high-performing, or the state of the profession today would clearly be in a better place. But in your written testimony, you mentioned that to date, Massachusetts has never identified a low-performing preparation program. Why do you think states might be hesitant to identify what clearly must exist, which are low-quality preparation programs, and what can the federal government do to ensure that states are holding preparation programs accountable and working on improving the quality?
Thank you for your question, Mr. Polis. I did write that in my testimony, in my written testimony, that we have never identified a program as low performing in Massachusetts. I think mostly because our program review and approval process was so weak in the past that we didn't have a strong evidence base from which we could declare a program low performing. Much in the case when you build a case, and particularly when you're building a case with bad news for your program, you want to be able to refer to some evidence to say, this is why we're closing your program down, or this is why we're not approving it. In the past, we didn't have that evidentiary base, and we particularly didn't have it around outcomes, that is, educator outcomes and their impact on students.
And then moving to Title II reporting and establishing common metrics, what more can the federal government do to ensure that states have the right metrics to, in fact, improve the quality of their teacher preparation programs?
Sure. So I'll mention a couple. We're not required to report now on hiring and retention data. We don't report on evaluation and impact ratings, which we in Massachusetts have and would be delighted to turn over to the feds, and we think other states should do so as well. We'd like to see requirements for us to report on the percentage of graduates employed in high-need, low-performing districts and high-need subject areas. We also would like to be required to report on how our programs do in terms of their performance assessments. Those are a few examples.
Thank you. Our next question is for Ms. Hall. You know, Urban Teacher Center is already doing a great job improving the quality of teacher preparation, harnessing the power of innovation to create a new and effective way to prepare great teachers and principals. That's consistent with why I introduced with Congressman Petri the GREAT Act, which encourages the growth and development precisely of these types of teacher or principal academies. And I'd like to ask how your model encourages innovation, ensures program quality, and what federal barriers to your success should we focus on removing?
Great, thank you for asking. And there are lots of aspects of the GREAT Act that we do support: highly selective recruiting, clinically based programming, and most of all focus on results. I would say that the way that we're able to be innovative and to be innovative within the regulations and the rules as they currently exist can be embodied by other organizations. We've been able to crack open a program of study and a course sequence for higher ed master's preparation to prepare teachers in a way that is clinically based and focused, that is entirely possible for other folks that have the same appetite and same inclination. I would say that in terms of what is next for us in terms of where are there opportunities for expansion either of UTC or of models like UTC, I will say that initially we were denied from offering federal student aid to people in our program. That was an incredible lift for my organization. We had to go out and we raised $20,000 for every person in our program so we could turn around and loan it to them. And we are not a bank, and I'm not a lender. That's a different committee. And we had to get out of that business really fast. And it took us 3.5 years to get federal approval to offer loans through our higher ed partners.
Streamlined approval would be one of your suggestions?
Absolutely, streamlining approval. And then also wherever the federal government can provide or opportunity for the organizations to stand in the same way that higher ed does and partner with K-12 school systems. We see them as our ultimate customer, and we'd like to have the same opportunity for existing federal funds for those partnerships, and frankly to be able to do business in more districts and more states. Right now, UTC is blocked from some states from doing business.
By the states?
By the alt-cert requirements in the states.
Okay. And is that because they're not uniform across the states?
That is right.
Okay. Do you see any federal role in that?
I think wherever the federal government can encourage states to be much more innovative in how they decide who is allowed to prepare teachers. So I do see a role for the federal government there. I wouldn't presume to state exactly what it is.
Yeah, and this is what we see in education. Often it takes the federal government to play a disruptive role to allow for choice and innovation to occur at the state or district level, particularly when you have legacy monopoly providers, and it's difficult to introduce change into the system. I yield back the balance of my time.